Today, we're going to tackle a really fascinating medical puzzle. It's one that might even feel a little familiar to some of you. It's all about a biological process that's working exactly as it should, even when the numbers you're seeing, well, they look a little weird at first.
So, picture this. You wake up, you check your blood sugar, and whoa, it's a bit on the high side. But then, you get your lab work back, and your HbA1c, that super important long-term marker, is perfectly normal. So what's the deal? Is one of those numbers just flat out wrong, or is there something else going on entirely?
To get to the bottom of this, let's start with a little case study. We're calling this one a morning puzzle.
Okay, so let's meet our guy. He's a 65-year-old man who is, by all accounts, the picture of health. He's really on top of his game, tracks all his metrics, but he's noticed this confusing pattern in his morning glucose readings.
First thing in the morning, before he's eaten anything, his glucometer is showing a reading of 140. Now, for a fasted reading, that number definitely seems kind of high. It's enough to make you pause and go, what's going on here?
But here's where the plot really thickens. That one number? It doesn't even begin to tell the whole story. Let's take a look at his overall health profile.
Check this out. He's maintaining a super healthy weight, he practices 16/8 intermittent fasting, and he's incredibly active. We're talking swimming a full kilometer 4 times a week. This is where the contradiction really hits you. By any and every measure, this is a metabolically healthy lifestyle. So you see the puzzle, right? Why the high morning glucose? The two pictures just don't seem to line up at all.
And now for the real kicker, the most important piece of the puzzle. His HbA1c, which, remember, reflects his average blood sugar over the last 3 months, is a fantastic 5.3%. That is well within the optimal non-diabetic range. So how on earth can a high morning reading and a perfect long-term average exist at the same time?
Well, the answer isn't a problem, it's a process. And it's called the dawn phenomenon. This is the key that unlocks our entire mystery.
The dawn phenomenon is a completely natural, early morning surge in your blood sugar. Your body isn't doing anything wrong. In fact, it's running its own internal wake-up protocol to get you ready for the day ahead.
And what's really interesting is that this whole process kicks off while you're still sound asleep. Right around 3 or 4 in the morning, your body starts releasing this cascade of hormones like cortisol and growth hormone. It all ramps up until you wake up, making sure you're primed and ready to go.
So what's happening is your liver is releasing stored glucose right into your bloodstream. You can think of it as your body giving itself a little shot of energy to help you get out of bed and get going. It's a feature, not a bug.
Okay, that makes sense. That explains the morning spike. But hang on a second. That still leaves one big question. Why doesn't this daily event jack up that all-important 90-day average?
The answer here is actually just simple math. Your HbA1c isn't a snapshot from a single moment. It's more like a long movie of your last 3 months. So a brief natural rise in glucose for an hour or 2 each morning, it has a tiny, tiny impact on the total average, especially if your glucose is well managed for the other 22 hours of the day.
And this brings us to a really critical distinction. We have to draw a big, bold line here. The dawn phenomenon is a brief, hormonally driven spike with very little effect on your HbA1c. That is completely different from persistent hyperglycemia, which is caused by metabolic dysfunction, hangs around for much longer, and will absolutely raise your HbA1c.
So, let's bring this all home. What's the clinical takeaway? What does all of this actually mean for you?
Let's go back to our guy in the case study. He is doing everything right. His incredibly healthy lifestyle, all that exercise, the healthy weight, the eating patterns, it all keeps his overall metabolic balance in check. And that's what makes the dawn phenomenon a total non-issue for him.
So, if you're seeing something similar in your own numbers, what do? First off, don't panic. Look for a pattern over time. Second, think about the context of your overall lifestyle. Are you doing all the right things? And third, and this is the most important one, talk to your doctor. They can look at your patterns, maybe even use a continuous glucose monitor to confirm exactly what's going on.
There's a quote from the source material that just sums this all up so perfectly. It's an elegant way to think about it. Sometimes the body simply wakes before we do.
So the final takeaway here is really clear. A rise in your morning glucose does not automatically mean you have diabetes. It's such a powerful reminder that when it comes to our health, context is everything. Understanding the why behind the numbers, that's the real key to turning anxiety into understanding.